Student trustee Oatney,
Present.
trustee Griffin,
Here.
trustee Schaefer,
Here.
trustee Morton,
Here.
trustee Alm,
Here.
and trustee Floyd is not present.
Okay. We have nothing to report from closed session. And next is approval of agenda. We have some changes to be made. Would someone like to reiterate, or shall I?
You can go ahead.
Okay, so we are pulling 6.2, 6.8, and 7.2.1, and 9.2, and 9.5.
I will
Otherwise,
move
the
to
agenda stands.
I will move to approve the agenda with those changes.
Second.
You choose one of them? Okay, go ahead.
All right, student trustee Oatney,
Yes.
trustee Griffin,
Yes?
trustee Schaefer,
Yes.
trustee Morton,
Yes.
and trustee Alm.
Yes. Okay. Item 5, public hearing, sufficiency of instructional materials. So is this just an open it up and see if anyone wants to comment on it?
Yep. Yep, we do this every year. We have had no complaints for instruction materials.
Okay. So we're looking for anyone online, anyone out there that wants to comment?
No.
Anyone out here that wants to comment? No.
Public comment?
Oh, no, this is just for this agenda item.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, if you're here for non-agendized items, that usually comes up around at 5:30, I think. Yeah, we have that at 5:30. Okay, so then we close that public hearing?
Yep.
Okay, close that, move on, consent agenda?
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda as amended. Second.
We got,
Okay.
Michael and Mark?
Student trustee Oatney,
Yes.
trustee Griffin,
Yes?
trustee Schaefer,
Yes.
trustee Morton,
Aye.
trustee Alm.
Yes. Okay. 6.6, approval of the MCLB attestation paraprofessionals.
That's all part of the consent agenda.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Okay, reports. Max Oatney.
Okay, I'll keep this kind of short, but ASB has decided on homecoming skit night themes, and it is going to be along the lines of historical ages and decades, and each class can choose either a time period or a specific decade to represent, and that's about all that's new.
Is it going to be a surprise up until the night of, or are they going to be announced?
I'm not sure, that's why I'm not saying right now, but
Okay.
we'll find out.
Fair enough.
Did everything start the school year smoothly?
Everything's been going very well so far. Yeah. We haven't had an opportunity to think about other things than skit night and ASB yet, so I don't have anything to report in terms of student needs yet. But yeah.
Thanks, Max.
Yeah.
Okay, and Tobin is not with us this evening, so that's on to you, Jason.
All right. Written report this month. So I just wanted to give the board an update on Greenwood Preschool. The porta potties have been delivered. The hand washing station has been delivered. They were initially dropped off before anybody got there in the wee early hours of the morning out in the parking lot. So we had to call them back, and when Jessica was there, and now they are moved inside the fencing in the playground. So it's a great location for them. The licensing waiver is still in process. We haven't heard, so until today, I got an email from licensing saying they wanted to have a little more information about where the porta potties are located, what are we gonna do with the water that we use for hand washing if we do use water inside. Just how long do we expect the porta potties to be there? And so we'll be answering those and submitting that tomorrow. So hopefully we can start as soon as we can, early next week. I've been keeping the Greenwood parents informed about the process or the progress through Jessica. And then the coastal development permit, we have applied for the emergency permit. And I just want to really thank Andy Kovchek from Carl Ritteman for stepping up and helping us do the permit application. he did a lot on our end, and then Jesse and Matt from planning, they, I think, bent over backwards to try and kind of get this through quickly as well. So now that we've applied for it, Andy's been in touch with the contractor, so the materials have been ordered, so things are really moving along quickly. So it's a good update. Yesterday, we had a warranty item walkthrough for phase 2. Wind Spirit attended along with representatives from QKA and Lathrop, and we just walked around the entire phase 2 construction site, and just pointed out a lot of things like rusty handrails and downspouts that were missing, some painting that was already coming off, some doors that were kind of not flush and working very well. So I thought it went well. They seemed very, very on it and receptive, and so now we're gonna see how long it takes them to come back and fix those things. If you want to add anything else, you can do that when you come up. I thought it went really well, so thank you for the suggestion to do that. Let's see. Fort Bragg Police Department received a grant through the Project Right Now program, and the grant will fund a substance abuse counselor to be shared between Mendocino College, Fort Bragg, and Mendocino. So we met with our new substance abuse counselor. Her name is Daniela Aguirre. Last week, she is going to be here at the high school 1 day a week. So excited about that. And then I did send an email to the board and staff and parents about our drinking water situation. I am not a water expert, but from what I understand, the project up at the maintenance site, the water tank project, they're needing to refill the tank so quickly. They use the water and they refill it so quickly that the caustic is not able to keep up with it doesn't have enough time to work. So the water coming out of the wells up there and then into our pipes is pretty acidic, and it's causing some copper residue. If you look around, you'll see that some green staining on many of our fountains here at the high school and then newly at the K8. And they ordered a large caustic pump, and they're going to install it today and do some flushing over the weekend, so hopefully we can get it back to normal. I've been told repeatedly that the water is safe to drink, and they've done lots of testing. It just tastes really bad. And so we have closed off all the fountains and filling stations at the K8 and the high school, and we're using bottled water today and tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be back to normal on Monday. So this didn't require a boil water notice, but this is just kind of like, hey, it tastes bad, let's not use it. So that's about it.
Comments, questions?
Just any other updates on that project?
I heard that demolition was starting next week.
Of the existing tanks?
The existing tanks. So they have all of the temporary tanks full. And whatever water they do take out, they've been trucking down to the irrigation tank here and dumping that in there. So we do have some irrigation water as well.
Thanks, Jason. Bargaining units, do we have Josh or anyone for MUTA?
No, I don't see anyone.
No? Okay, and CMUS?
No.
No one? Okay, trustee reports. Emily, anything for us?
Won 2 soccer games this week, Monday and Wednesday.
Congratulations.
We beat Anderson Valley on Monday in Anderson Valley, and we beat Technology High School in Roanoke Park yesterday.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so that's all I got right now.
Excellent.
We play the Coast Cup Saturday night. The girls play at 5 and the boys at 7 against Fort Bragg at Fort Bragg High School Timberwolves Stadium. So that's the big yearly rivalry match. That for this year, for the first time, they're doing a girls Coast Cup and a boys Coast Cup, which is great because it used to only be the boys.
Too bad it's a fair weekend.
I know. Yeah, we tried to avoid it and we couldn't find another time.
Michael?
No, I have nothing.
Nothing? I'm trying to think about to add anything with the walkthrough. I think Jason covered it pretty well. Yeah, I think we'll see what the follow-through is. There's an item I forgot to tell you about, but I'll catch up with you on that
Okay.
later. I don't have anything else. Okay, item 9.1, Mendocino High School Phase 3. Anything new on this?
No, I mean, we just met, 2 weeks ago, so nothing really new on this. Continued work on the locker rooms and the tennis courts. I got a nice email from MCRPD thanking us for just getting these done, and they had their first class or program event there, and she said it was a huge success, and just it's good to have that positive relationship. It's really, I was kind of blown away that they were able to just donate $20,000 to us. So
Is there a way of posting the times that are reserved for the park district so people don't show up wanting to play tennis when they've got pickleball happening or whatever?
I don't know. I mean, we did. Emily helped order a sign that thanked some of the we're calling it a sport court because it's multiple sports down there. Some of the rules and acknowledging Muse and MCRPD, but their programs change often. So, but we could ask them if they could post that. That might be a good idea. Just going to say, hey, this is reserved at this time.
Or do we have a system where community members can reserve a tennis court for an hour?
No.
It's always first come,
I
first
mean,
served.
tennis courts are usually first come, first served, wherever I've lived and known tennis.
Right. But if you show up and it's blocked out for park and rec for 4 hours, then that's sort of
It'd be good to
gee, I
know.
wish I had known that before I came over.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they could put up a seasonal sign with each program, with the schedule of that program for the quarter or month or whatever it is. Yeah, it's a temporary thing. Yeah.
Anything else on the Phase 3?
Can't think of anything.
I did, when we were doing the walkthrough, I walked into the locker rooms and chatted with Ruben and looked at it, and he's making good progress and doing great work.
It's good to hear.
There are some big spaces there.
Is he working on the PAC too?
I don't,
Or is that next?
no, I think that was
Not
his
yet.
next.
No.
And we've put new things, I mean, Ruben's work will continue since he's salaried, but we're also holding off on new projects while we wait for
Right. I mean,
the state money
I just
back, but
wondered what
since he's
what
under
he's doing.
contract.
I think the wood shop is next.
He's doing wood shop next?
I believe so, and then he'll get to the PAC and band room windows.
Could you remind me when the grammar school playground, where that fits in the next?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I should have mentioned that. So, we had as you know, just to kind of give a little history, we were going to redo the the K-8 school playground last year, and we were going to use developer fee funds for that. We had enough money in developer fees to cover that, but then the feared shortfall of the solar project came up, so we had to halt that program, and so we would like to move forward with that program as soon as we get that state money, because then we'll have enough to cover the solar project, well, more than enough to cover the solar project, because we still have 1.1-ish left in the bond fund. So I'd like to dedicate that developer fee money back to the K playground, and I've talked with Kim and some of the members of the committee, and they would like to get it going even during the school year, because it's badly needed. Maintenance I thought they did a pretty good job making it safe again. There were a lot of rusty exposed metal, which they coated with some kind of rubber coating. But I would like to move forward as soon as we get that money. I think it's needed, and they would probably be able to do it quickly because they're so slammed in the summer doing playgrounds. But we would do that playground, and then there's been a lot of talk about moving some of the playground into the field and making a section of natural playground as well.
I mean, I mentioned that one playground that I saw, and Emily did some research and forwarded it. Had you made any contact with any of
No.
those? I'm happy to move forward, but I would love to see, before we select the conventional multiple plastic and metal things, if there's any alternative out there. I think it would be appreciated by the kids, the community, and I know I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly think we want to avoid the issue that, of using microplastics as the surface.
Yeah, we're planning on wood chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even just
Yeah.
the structures themselves, I think there might be some options, even commercial, not just, not
Right.
just locals actually building something that, as great as it sounds, is not likely to occur. So I think that she shared that.
Yeah,
Was it just
yeah.
one company, Emily?
Yeah, we could probably get the committee back
I'm sure
together
there are
to look at
multiple
some.
ones.
Right, but that you found, it was just the one.
A local one, yeah.
The one in Santa Rosa, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more on that or other phase 3 items? Online? No? Okay. So we pulled 9.2, that brings us to 9.3, consideration of adoption of reading difficulty screening tool.
So, we have to adopt a tool that we would use at the elementary level to do readings, to do screenings. Mainly, they're looking for any kind of reading intervention that is needed, but a lot of it's looking for dyslexia. And so, Kim and Megan went to, and I attended online, but Kim and Megan went last year to the MCOE. They brought in some of the state-approved possibilities, and they came back and they're recommending the Dibbles screening tool. I don't know, Kim, if you have any other information you can provide on this. You are way more knowledgeable about it than I am, but don't mean to put you on the spot either.
No, that's totally fine. I gave a board presentation on this last year as well.
Stand up here or else nobody online will hear what you're saying.
You know the drill.
Nice try, though.
I was trying to get a month off, you guys. So I gave a board presentation on this last year as well. And Dibbles M-Class is a battery of reading assessment tools that we have been using for many years. They've added a couple components to it to make it a little more beefy. And so it is something that, we are currently doing. We adopted the new system. It's an online system that makes it easier to build reports and send letters home to families. That's part of the law, is that now we have to report out to families in a certain amount of time, which we do regularly anyway, but this just makes it easier to send those letters. And so we got training on that our first week back as a staff. We had 2 half-day trainings on it, and so we're ready to go with it.
Well, as I'm sure you know, the big controversial word in reading is phonics.
Yes.
Where does this system fit in with that debate about using phonics or not using phonics?
Definitely using phonics. Science of the reading is real. All of our super kids in the early education program is based on the science of reading, and phonics is directly taught and explicitly taught. And this program basically looks at, are students able to break up the phonemes of words? So it's one of the major assessment tools in there.
Has that been an issue with us before in terms of different teachers going whole word when others were doing phonics? Or?
Not in many years. I would say when I first started working in the district as a teacher, it was a thing. But I would say probably for the last, 12 to 13 years, not so much. Teachers, we had a group of teachers who really wanted to look at this early on before it became a thing in the world. And so we were looking for a phonics instruction, and a group of teachers who really wanted curriculum to work from, which was kind of going away from what it used to be, where you make up your own kind of curriculum and look at your own things. So we've been solidly set in that for quite a while now. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kim. So do you need action on this?
We do, yeah.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I move that we adopt the reading difficulty screening tool Dibbles, edition 8.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I would just comment, having been here a long time and having started my career here teaching reading, I did it wrong. And that was in the 1970s. And there was huge controversy way back then about phonics versus the other kinds of ways of teaching reading. And I was shocked in the past 5 years to find out this was still a controversy, because it's my memory that in the late 1990s and very early 2000s, it became very clear through really good research that phonemic awareness and phonics was the way to do it. And so the fact that this is still a national controversy.
Can you help me? Give me just like a 5-minute, because I apologize, I'm ignorant to what the difference in the two theories is.
Okay, well, phonemic awareness and phonics, those are two different things, and they're both important. And phonemic awareness is, to put it simply, and Kim can correct me if I say something wrong, is, do you know the difference between duh and puh? You know, if you're a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old, can you distinguish between dog and pog? That's a real thing when you're that age. And it's really important that you be able to do that. That comes before phonics. And then phonics is actually putting words together with this set of sounds. And that decoding reading is best learned due to certain areas in the brain that they found where you're processing these sounds. Kids are most successful if you teach them with phonemic awareness and then phonics.
And the debate is some people disagree.
Some people disagree still, to some degree, although I think that's starting to go away.
Slowly.
Yes.
I mean, you still find union opposition to
Yeah.
teaching phonics.
Yeah. When I was teaching back in the 70s, we used the Bomar series, which was these little books, and the objection to phonics was that phonics was taught with these ugly, boring books with terrible stories in them that had no meaning. And teachers felt, and I think rightfully so, that giving kids books when they're starting to learn how to read that are totally boring and don't make any sense was not fun and not a good way to teach kids that reading was a valued life skill. So we taught with sight words and decoding from pictures on the page and other ways of guessing words and some phonics. We had phonics workbooks back in the 70s, but the focus wasn't on that, not in Mendocino Unified.
And I think that, there's also the issue, the more phonics-oriented your instruction with reading is, I think it leads to poor spelling of students, and vice versa. So it's not a simple situation.
No.
The brain works in different ways, and the English language is perverse, and so
Right.
Trusting your ear as opposed to your eye can sometimes lead you astray.
And are there any copyrights or monies involved in this debate?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, and Texas is in charge, or was in charge. I don't know if
'Cause
it's still.
I don't know where it came from. I remember years ago the was hooked on phonics, and I thought that was like a brand. Was it?
There are lots of brands, and the big states, their boards of education, go through all the companies and pick the ones they want, and there's all kinds of politics around who sells what and which state gets to determine that. And I don't know the current politics, but that was always a big deal that we got messed over by Texas. Nothing new.
Okay, thank you. Any other further discussion? Okay, please call the vote. Jason?
Student trustee Odie,
Yes.
trustee Griffin. This
Yes.
is very strange for me to call you these names. Trustee Schaefer,
Yes.
trustee Morton,
Yes.
trustee Allen.
Yes. Okay, that was 9-3. And 4, consideration of resolution 2025-14, sufficiency of instructional materials. This is an annual, is it not?
Yep, we have sufficient instructional materials for all students. And like we said, we haven't received any complaints for many years.
Comments?
I think it says it all. We have more than adequate materials.
Yeah, and we've been selected for a review for the last 3 years at the K-8 school. So we're, for some reason, we keep coming up into this. Another 3-year cycle. Yeah, so it's just for 3 years. Yeah, so
What happens? Do they come and check?
they do. We need to have certain things posted at the schools and textbook adoptions and numbers and yeah, I mean Kim does it. I don't know how you do it, but she does it. So it's a lot of work.
So I'll move that we adopt resolution 2025-14.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comments? Anyone online? No?
No. Student trustee Odie,
Yes.
trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Schaefer,
Yes.
trustee Morton,
Yes.
trustee Elm.
Yes. We pulled 9.5, so that's nearly been to the end, but we will jump ahead early into non-agendized items, parent community comment. I believe you're here to speak to us. If you wouldn't mind, the microphone goes out to people online, even though it does not amplify your voice any.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
It goes out to anyone that's viewing online, but it does not amplify your voice at all.
Okay, may I move this a little?
Sure.
bit?
And if you could please tell us your name.
My name is Jean, like European Arnold, like Benedict, and we live right over there. And 3 or 4 years ago, you may remember, someone went through the stop sign without stopping, and we wound up with a car in our yard. And that brought home to me that there is a really bad situation at our corner. So 3 cars were involved, and one of them wound up spinning, and students had just gotten into class. If that had not been the case, somebody would have been at minimum injured. So anyway, I looked into it. There's a one-way sign at Covelo and Ford on this corner on the high school property, and there's a stop sign on Covelo on that side, and there's a stop sign at Caston here. But everybody thinks this road is one way this way, but I found out from the Department of Transportation, the county, there's no such thing as a county one-way street. So this is not true. So all the locals think this is one way, and all the people who come from out of town to go to different athletic events and stuff, and all the tourists, they don't know this. So they go the other way. And one time I went out, I was in the garden, and I saw a propane truck backing onto Covelo because he thought this was one way. So people coming this way, at least they can see, they think Ford has the right of way, but they also think that they have the right of way with the people coming south. So that's bad. And then on this end, you have the school buses coming here, right? And you have people, again, coming through here with no stop sign. And then at this end, same problem, the school buses take up pretty much the whole width of the street, which is almost non-existent. And they think they can stop here briefly and go, but there are other people who think they can turn here or turn this way. So the reason I'm coming in front of the board is to ask to see whether somebody, one of you or all of you, could make this an agenda item and bring it up with the Board of Supervisors to ask them to create a one-way street, because this really is too narrow for two-way. And all the people who live on, not all of them, but a lot of them on Bankers Road, they park on the south side of Covelo, not on the north. And if they were on the north, they'd be crossing, all this crazy traffic to get to their doors. So to me, this is a real, not a crisis, but it really is an accident waiting to happen. And the part that's most interesting to me, which I don't want to live through, who is responsible? If I were in an accident at that corner, the high school has a one-way sign here. Is the high school responsible for putting up a sign that was incorrect? or do you sue the county? So there'd be like 3 years of litigation just to decide who's responsible. And then we'd go from there, to actually deal with the litigation. So,
So
I'm
I've
just,
seen the sign, but I've never really looked at the sign. So that isn't our sign, we think?
what
I
I
think
was
it's a one-way
told,
sign. The thing is, it
But-
isn't backed up by law.
Interesting.
correct.
And it doesn't, there's no do not enter on
Yeah,
the corner of.
right.
This is the problem
There
here.
is a
This is
do not-
really helpful to me because you actually allowed me to win a debate with my son because I drove down Covelo that way just the other day. And he yelled at me and said it was a one-way street and pointed to that
Well,
sign.
are you local or not? If you're local, it's one way. So
Well,
he's
I always
right.
thought it was one way, and then there wasn't a one-way sign at that end,
Right.
so I did it. But then by the time I got to the end, I saw the one-way sign there, then I wondered, is that one-way sign actually for going up to the high school?
No, so on the high school, like on this end, there's a do not enter sign.
Right. But is the
But
one-way
not-
sign just referring to the one-way going up to the entrance
Right.
to the high school?
That's a good
down?
question.
No, because it's like over
It's not
here.
placed in the right
That's-
location.
It's about 20 feet away or more. It actually, the sidewalk that comes down, the stairs that come down are in between the one-way sign, which is like over here,
Yeah.
and this route. So,
Right.
So Jason,
It's
you,
Anyway, I
further.
agree with you that it's unclear and dangerous, so that
Thank
might be
you.
something worth raising
do
with
you feel
the county.
comfortable following through on that? And if it needs to come
Sure.
to the board for us
Yeah.
to make a motion?
Yeah,
to
I
the-
can follow through
The
on
board of
that, for sure.
supervisors?
At a
or whatever?
minimum, much more clear markings are required.
and the
Yeah.
Department of Transportation told me that, I don't, he said there was no provision for a one-way street, but then he also said, and I thought there's got to be some way to get around this. He said that if you have a one-way street, parking must be on the same side, in other words, on this side.
Okay.
So it can't be on both.
No, but it
No,
can't be.
he said it can be on both, I think, but if it's one side, it's got to be this side. Well,
Right.
that's not good for the people who live here.
Right.
I'm bringing it to your attention, and I'm telling you that the people who live here will be very unhappy with me if they have to park over here, okay?
Right.
So, anyway, after I saw that propane truck backing in there, I just could picture this horrendous conflagration. And after the accident that landed in our yard, if it really had been a few minutes earlier, somebody, it could have been 10 kids killed in one swoop. So, anyway,
Luckily, if you're on that stretch of Covelo, if you're going over 20, you're going to lose teeth because it's.
luckily what?
If you're going over 20 miles per hour on that stretch, you're going to lose teeth. It's so bumpy. It's in
Right.
bad shape.
Well, that's the other
So
issue.
it's a good thing.
I read somewhere that when streets are in bad shape, people actually want to rush through them more than when they're clean, when they're easier to drive on. I don't know if that's not true for us.
That's
but
interesting.
Anyway,
I was definitely going 50 going this way. So I don't know what you're talking about, Jason. Yeah, you just cruise right over the potholes and you go faster.
Right.
In my experience.
if you can make it through.
People
So
don't know that you're joking,
I think
How do you know I'm joking, Michael?
because I want to believe that you're joking.
Did you ask the Department of Transportation if they put up that one-way sign or not?
they had no record of it. So the theory was, somebody else I spoke to said that they thought that the former principal, 20 years ago, the sign's been there a long time, that they put that up to make this easy, make it work.
Right.
And I really think a two-way situation would be horrific. There's just not enough room. If anybody parks there, there's no room to pass. So it's pretty,
So what is your suggestion? Then? What is your
my suggestion,
No, I think.
do not
if-
enter
and make it a one-way?
one way and,
And if we're going to the trouble of having this officially approved by the county, we can ask for a waiver of their current requirement that it be on, parking be on the other side. We can designate that the parking only be on the, the south side of
right.
the road.
I mean, some of these people who live here are quite old.
I appreciate your concern. I don't know if you followed the listserv and people's concerns about the potholes on Little Lake Road and the potholes in Albion Ridge and the county's $50 or $80 million backlog in maintenance.
Yeah, I do.
But this wouldn't cost the county
well-
anything.
Well,
If
right, but it would
there
be
needed to be new
precedent. Hold on, Michael,
signs,
let me finish.
if they
Let-
needed to be
Michael.
new signs, the district could buy new signs.
Maybe, but we're not in the business of providing signs for the city, for the county of Mendocino.
That might
And I'm
cause
aware,
liability.
I've lived here all my life, and I've worked around town a lot, and I look at the streets, and there's probably more places in Mendocino where the county easement is obstructed by bushes or people's personal parking spots or other things than where it's actually clear. And
Right.
people are very, you live on the
We live right
south.
here.
Right, so there's a little sign there that says no parking here to the corner. Is that
Yeah,
yours?
I'm trying to increase
Well,
visibility.
that's, that's not really your place to decide that. I mean, I understand your concern, and there's other businesses that say this is handicap parking. They don't get to do that. So I kind of take a little bit of offense to it, and people just need to be safe. So I might be the minority in the board, but I'm not sure that.
I think my sense of the history is that we put that one-way sign up.
Well, we probably shouldn't have.
And so it's our responsibility to take care of the fact that that's misleading information, either by fixing the problem or something.
Well, we should probably take the sign down.
So I think that you could probably agree to let Jason do some investigation and report back to us?
Certainly.
I've had numerous, interactions with the roads guy. I think his name is Howard
Dashiell.
Yeah.
He sticks to the code, and he doesn't really waver from what the actual code says or the book says. So I have a feeling that he's going to say that's a two-way street, and that's that. That's my feeling.
But I think the issue is that
But
all
I'm
it takes
happy
is a vote by the county board of supervisors to make an exception to that rule, and then he'll live with that too.
So this board is interested in making.
Well, I'm saying if you're
if I'm following up with them, I need to know what the board wants.
if your investigation shows that making it a two-way thoroughfare would be a dangerous thing for both students and neighbors, then I think it behooves us to come up with a solution.
I don't know if it would be
that's
dangerous.
an
If that pine
investigation.
tree that is overhanging got cut and people weren't parking in the right of way, it might be just like all the rest of the streets in town.
Yeah, but it would at minimum then need a stop sign on going the other direction.
Yeah, I mean, they have to do something in order to make this.
I mean,
So
half of
my
what-
understanding was the principal way back when, nobody that we know, of course,
So,
was asked if they wanted a stop sign here and said no, and I don't know if after that or before that, put up the one-way sign. And I would like to respond to what you said about my sign, which is just that, especially when there are events, people park all the way onto the corner and in front of the fire hydrant. That's our only hydrant, for blocks around. So I feel protective toward our corner. Also, we have to turn around there, and if people are parked there, then I'm going out there and putting at risk winding up in my own front yard the way the lady did who ran the stop sign. So, it's unsightly, but I totally agree with you about all the people who are growing these, bushes that are, they basically, I think the county should rent right-of-ways to people who want to
There you
expand
go.
their yards.
Yeah.
No, really, I do. I would pay to expand my yard. But anyway, so thank you for the extra time you've given me. I have another topic, but I'm not going to push my luck. I assume I don't get any more time. But I appreciate that you had the discussion, and I'll leave and you can vote or whatever. But the other thing that I brought was the first is an article from the New York Times. The reading skills of 12th graders have hit a new low. And then behind that is an article from the Atlantic about cell phone use in schools. And there are now 31 states where cell phones are not allowed in the schools. And I don't think the coach lets people take their cell phones out on the field. And I think if people are learning, they don't need these distractions. And I used to teach hook-bun phonics at San Quentin. So I really believe in education and in not, people not winding up there needing education when they get there. So I made 5 copies, and I have your email address, so I thought there were only 5 board members.
Thank you.
Thanks.
There's 5 plus a student trustee, and so,
Oh, I
so
thought you were.
we have 1 absent. So it worked out great. Thank you.
Well,
Yes.
Jason's not a board member, don't worry.
Ex officio.
Thank you so much.
Seriously, I feel a little foolish going around.
Not at all.
I appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Thanks.
For your service on the board. I only lasted 6 months on it, and it was horrific.
So I do want to ask for some clarification. When you say investigate, I'm not going to go out there and start investigating if it's safe. That's not my job.
No.
That's not what I'm trained to do. I'm not doing that. But my question is, would the board would like would the board like me to pursue a one-way street or to go back to a two-way street? I don't feel like it's up to me to determine what's safe and what's not. Like, personally, I think a two-way street is the safest thing there.
But I think I'm thinking for school buses especially, going up that ramp. If you have traffic coming this direction and you're entering the intersection from, this direction, going up the hill, and this other vehicle is coming there, why do you want to set up a situation where that can even happen?
I don't
We didn't
necessarily
set it
want
up.
to.
But that's
I
exactly
don't
why
necessarily
that
want to,
one-way
but-
sign was put there.
So the board would like me to push for a one-way street?
No,
Is that what hearing?
I'm not, you asked me what my
Okay.
feelings are. I think
I
that,
don't.
I think that we put that sign up. The school district, either by action of just the principal or by more action, you have to look back in time to see how that happened. But I think it was done because of a perceived safety issue. And now it's complex because it's inconsistent. There aren't stop signs where there should be stop signs if there's two-way traffic there. There should be a stop sign coming this way, and there's not.
Well, that's the
there's-
case in
there's-
many intersections. For
there's
half my
plenty
life,
of-
there was no stop sign
There's a lot of roads
at,
that don't have stop signs.
at little Lansing and Ukiah.
Right.
And then they put one in while I was away, and I blew right through it. I'm like, oh, there's a stop sign here now. Someone decided at the county level that they needed a stop sign there.
But
And
it used to be a two-way stop, and they changed to a four-way stop.
exactly.
How about this? Find out from the county what the actual truth is, so we know what the facts are.
Yeah.
Talk to Tobin, because he's going to have better insight into how dangerous that intersection is than we are, and report back,
That sounds
instead of us
reasonable.
all just kind of
I would
guessing.
like to have more knowledge about student driving behavior just around campus. And is that an issue or not? And, does that affect this also?
I mean, I think that's a whole other subject. Driver safety, be it student, resident, parent, is an issue and always
Yeah.
will be.
It always will be.
But the facts of what the street laws are is
The only
different.
student driver incident that I can remember in my time here was when we had open campus and a student driver went out on the headlands and got into an accident.
Right.
And then we closed it to vehicles. But I haven't heard of a student accident on this campus since I've been here.
When Emily and I were in school, Tony Scrimalia went down the hill the wrong way on a bicycle and ran into Cody Drake and hurt him badly. But that was no car related.
What do you mean went down the hill the wrong way?
Well, he went down the bus hill that way, out into the intersection.
I mean, maybe
'Cause that's
we don't even have do we have the right to make that one way?
I don't
Our
think we
own?
do.
We
don't.
Well, it's our
That's-
property.
The hill? Yeah, you can do whatever you
Well,
want.
we
The
can
hill,
put a little
yeah.
Private sign.
Yeah,
if we
we're
want.
private.
Expect people to do it.
And
We want them to.
is the sign on, where is the city, it's quite possible the county easement goes partway up the hill. All the streets vary in width, but some of them are 20, 30, whatever.
It doesn't seem like we've had on campus, other than that bike, a problem with people going down that hill in cars. Has that ever been?
Because I don't think the students are allowed to park up here.
But I'm talking about somebody else, or on a week, or on the 4th of July,
I've never
or
seen
somebody parks up here.
I've never seen anyone get on the hill.
I
Because
just
there's a
think
one-way sign right there.
on our property, we need to have clear signage, whatever it says. That's all.
Right. You clear on your directive?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're so close to a record short board meeting. We're so close.
Do we have,
I'm just glad I'm not investigating the safety of that.
okay, future agenda items, anything to add?
I'd like to add the cafeteria report
Okay.
for October, so I'll note that.
And then you'll be coming back to the board with this item, of course.
I have a couple comments. Do we want to discuss the parameters of the student trustee role on the board? This thing that started coming up at the last meeting. Is that something we would discuss like in open session?
I think so, yeah.
I guess that was something we could talk about, if we want to we have time, since we have so little done. But, the item that Jason forwarded from CSBA indicated that student trustees do have the right to make and second motions.
They
Saw
can,
that, but
But we
I-
have to,
they
we have
can
to put
have
that in
it,
some kind of, some bylaw or something.
Yeah.
We need to make that part of our
We
policy.
we have to make it part of our
Yeah,
bylaws.
yeah.
I didn't feel like it was clear. Was it, do you
Because
feel it was
making and
cut and dry?
seconding motions is different than voting on them.
Yeah,
Right.
it didn't say, I mean,
There-
they vote on
yeah.
them, but the vote still is advisory rather than legal.
Right.
But
Is
that
it,
doesn't mean that their ability to make a motion is legal.
I thought I understood from somewhere that some districts, the student vote counts the same as other votes, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
I didn't see that.
That wasn't answered, I don't think.
I
in
don't, I
that,
didn't
was
see
it?
that in any of the.
My personal feeling is I would like to give the student trustee as much power as possible. I just think it's, you know, I think they should have whatever rights they're allowed to have or
I
possibilities
think
for
that it seems like
participation.
the issue could be that the residents have not had an option in electing them.
But we're close to getting into like an agenda item, so if you want me to add
Yeah,
it to
I think so.
October, I can.
Yeah, if maybe we
You
could
could
get
get some more info.
clear
Yeah.
on what's possible, what's not possible,
Yeah.
what we do, history, whatever's needed.
And I'll see if we
to
even have a
discussion.
bylaw that addresses the student trustee.
Yeah. And then my other thing was just a general overall comment that I think the school board for the past, I don't know how many years, has, for good reason, really been focused on construction and other site building issues. And I think this building is great. It seems almost finished. Yes, we've still got things going on and deadlines that we're going to make or not make. But I would really like to see us move back toward more of a focus on curriculum and student progress and topics like that at school board meetings. If it just seems like, you know, we've been through the construction thing and maybe it's going to decrease in terms of amount of need for us to talk about that. Just a thought.
We had a string there where we had teachers come in and present about their program or their classroom, and that was great.
That would always be nice. And principals too, and so on.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, adjourned.